rosters for a lot of those, but
yeah, they've played every TI since TI2.
Yeah.
And they've got 5 top 3s, but they've never won. I think they've got 2 or 3 second places out of those top 3s. All right, let's see this bit of a run fight.
Early action for the bounty. Zayat ends up netting himself that, but Resolution's going to take a little bit of damage here, which of course we are going to talk about Resolution a bit here, not just because he's awesome, Cinder, but he's playing a Silencer position 3.
Oh, I thought it was because he's playing your voice line. Okay.
I did tell him to do that, and he's been a very good boy so far. Thank you, Roman.
Yeah, Silencer offlane, very unusual here from Secret. It is something that I think Puppy's teams historically have been really good at, or how to say it. It's kind of hit or miss sometimes, but he's not afraid of doing uncharacteristic and creative approaches to laning stages to try to solve problems. I'm kind of with the panel though when they say I don't think Silencer fares well against Lone Druid Dazzle. I think this is going to be a tough task for Resolution to do a lot with. He's playing with a support 4 in the Nyx who doesn't have the most laning impact compared to say something like a Marcy. So I think they might have their work cut out for them down here. A little bit of a trade-off here between Nisha and Nothing to Say. And I just wanted to wrap up the thing we talked about with LGD's TI attendances, right? Because something that's funny about Secret as well is that they've placed like every position at TI, more or less, in the last 6 years. The only ones that have eluded this roster, I think, are actually 2nd and 1st place. Last year they got 3rd, the year before they got 4th, and then I think they had a 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. You know,
right.
More or less gone up one placement per year. So is this the year that Secret reaches the finals?
I mean, as you know, I did pick these 2 teams to end up in the finals, which may be a little awkward since they are facing off so early in the upper bracket, but
that doesn't rule it out.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Secret, I think I'd lock them in for 2nd place. It's just how it's going to happen. Obviously, Puppy knows more than everybody. But yeah, PSG.LGD obviously very strong, but the groups, not as, I mean, they bled a little bit, Cinder. What do you think that is attributed to? Do you think they've been playing so much over the past, like, all these tournaments coming up into TI, maybe a lot of research has been done against them? Or is a lot of it like Secret and teams like Liquid that have really gotten this ball rolling because of the last chance qualifier?
Yeah, I think in part certain other teams have really raised their level in the last month and kind of caught up to an extent. But I also think aside from that, LGD have been very creative in their strategies. I think when you play this many different heroes and this many different strategies, some are going to miss. Unless you think back to something like Wings at TI6, where they were just so much better than a lot of other teams that they could run almost any heroes they wanted and just win on raw skill. The competitive field now is just so much closer. So I think if you do run a lot of different strategies, you're not going to hit it every single time. And also, like we said, just a little bit of a slow start in day 1, right? I think after day 1, they more or less dropped, I think, 1 or 2 games in total.
That's fair. That's fair.
It just had to warm up a little bit, perhaps.
The mid lane right now, Nisha sitting on 15 and 1 CS. As we can see, a little action top lane. Faith Beyond taking the brunt of the damage here. Chrysalis still with the Starbreaker, will fully connect, and that looks like first blood goes the way of Secret in this game number 1.
This is just such a good carry against Enigma in lane. So what generally does well... Oh, wait, this is gonna... I hope we're not going to hear this every time they get a kill. I listened to you enough already.
Sorry about that.
Why did you have to make that one?
Have to try to compete with Slacks, you know?
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah, Splitter does connect really from Nisha. Stun. Nothing to say, in a bit of trouble. Gets off his shield crash, pops the Fairy Fire, will survive. But you can see the CS, I mean, it's pretty even overall. Would you say that this is kind of expected, Lesh versus Pango?
Yeah, I think it is ultimately slightly Leshrac favored because you have that range advantage and you're just going to spam out the harass. A lot of what ends up happening in this lane, I think, comes down to whether you can ensure that you get the 4-minute water rune on Pango. He might not even get the chance here. Nisha going, okay, a bit too crazy. He's really trying to bully NTS out of lane here and ensure that he gets the water runes. If there is a rotation coming in now from Puppy, which I think there will be, who's, by the way, in classic Puppy style, jungling minute 3 on his Crystal Maiden.
Yep.
For value, obviously, Dawnbreaker, one of the best carries in lane against Enigma, so doesn't need too much help. He can kill the Eidolons on his own with his 2 spells.
Too bad for you.
PSG.LGD will be the ones to ensure both water runes. Actually, a bit surprising that Puppy didn't come down here at all to try to help Nisha out, because I think now the mid lane is more or less going to equalize with the resources that Nothing to Say is going to have coming in now.
There is still a bounty rune for Nisha to pick up right now as well, and it did cost them a little bit of I mean, they're rotating in to help him out, but I mean, like you said, frostbiting those creeps in the jungle. Yummy, yummy for Mr. Puppy.
Closing in on level 3. Probably going to see him skill the Arcane Aura. I'm curious about his build. Puppy, I think, is one of the Crystal Maiden players historically that's been the happiest about maxing out Aura just to try to dominate the side lanes by giving them that extra influx of mana. As there will be the level 3 point. Pretty standard to go 1-1-1. it's going to be telling what he does from here on out, because I think there's also a lot of good things to be said about especially the Crystal Nova in this game. It's a good spell against the Lone Druid. It's a reliable, strong slow. It's good against the Tusk. You know, you want to slow them down so they can't stay on top of targets with tag team. But maybe he still rates the aura higher. All right, good to see a little bit of a poke down here on bottom.
Yeah, Poison Touch slowing Resolution to a crawl. You can see Zayat is coming, but it's going to be too late. So first kill for PSG.LGD so far in this game.
I'm actually impressed with how much farm Rezo has here. I think having 21 and 7 here is pretty respectable given the laning matchup that he
has. It is a Silencer off lane.
It's Silencer
very
Nyx.
odd.
It's very... I think odd is a good word to describe it. We'll return now here to the lane. I think... So I don't think Silencer offlane is not viable and can't be run. Obviously, I mean, Secret are onto something, right? They have an idea with this, but I do think Nyx is perhaps a little bit too much on the greedy side in terms of laning presence. Like, let's say you're playing with Clockwork or you're playing with Marcy or something. I think there's more potential to stand your ground and fight and hold the lane. But what's Zayat's going to do for you? He has one Impale, and the Lone Druid is just going to run at your Silencer, and you have to yield every single time. But the good news for Secret is the other two lanes are going great. They get there, obviously the core Dawnbreaker, as expected, doing great against the Enigma in the top lane. And as we alluded to, Nisha still doing just fine in that mid. Both level 6 is now picked up in the mid lane. Wonder if we're going to see a potential rotation. I mean, both Crystal Maiden and Nyx have plays against Pango. You have the Frostbite and you have the 2 stuns on Nyx to set up the Lesh. With that level 6 Pulse Nova could be a potential play.
I don't know what the stats are now, but last I heard, Crystal Maiden win rate was approaching 70% with actually a respectable amount of games played. Yep. But why do you think that is?
So I haven't looked too much in detail exactly at which teams play it.
65.9.
That is a very high win rate. I think part of it is what teams elect to pick it, right? I think Secret have been running it in multiple games, and they have a great win rate. So obviously that's going to inflate it a little bit. But I also just think CM in general has received some meaningful buffs lately. I think Crystal Nova is a very powerful spell when you get the right talents. And maybe also a little bit about the pacing of the game, right? Teams maybe have a slightly better understanding of what to pair it with as well. You know, in the past, one of Maiden's problems has been getting run over in lane, but you put it with Dawnbreaker carry. No, you're probably not too worried about being beaten in lane. Then you go and transition, and something that your hero can do that a lot of 5s can't is actually you scale incredibly well with few items, right? If you get a BKB on this hero, if you get some sort of utility,
nice snowball, ends up getting out of the range of the Starbreaker, but it matters not because Puppey is here to play as well. So 1 kill for Secret as why? Approach the tier 1 tower will be fine. Resolution in the meantime. Lose to say actually died to Zayats.
Yep, so there was that mid rotation coming in from the Nyx and getting full value out of the 2-0-2 build. Very standard for Nyx to not get mana burn until later in the game. And what you do offer then is that if you connect that first stun on Pango, he can't really reset, right? You just stand in his path and, well, he can try to, he needs to be a little bit careful about how he jumps with Swashbuckle essentially, and you can maybe catch him with Carapace as he does that to hit the creep wave. Use that as a setup for a secondary stun, and then Leshrac with the 3rd stun.
Oh, but Snowball in onto the mid lane. Nisha already at half HP. Here comes nothing to say with the Rolling Thunder, but a big Solar Guardian coming in as well as Crystal is trying to focus down Jin Q. He'll be successful eventually. Nothing to say, has to roll away. So rotations from both sides ends up netting Secret the kill on the Tusk.
This is something Secret's lineup has in spades, actually. They don't necessarily have the best setup. You only really have the Nyx that's going to initiate moves, but you have so much counter-engage. You have the Dawn ult, you have Global Silence, you have Spike Carapace. If the enemy team is the one making a move on you, and you have your spells ready, you got to be very wary as LGD about how you initiate moves, and yeah, that was a nice punish there. It will, at the very least for LGD, it will give Faith beyond level 6 and a little bit of space in that top lane. He's happy to finally have a little bit of space away from this Dawn.
Secret find Ame. Zayats gets off the Impale, but see the ult coming out from the Lone Druid as Nisha's here with the Pulse Nova. Y gets up a nice Poison Touch. Nice blocks coming out from Zayats, but the Grave comes out as well. It's nothing to say he's coming to try to help out his comrade, but oh, he actually does TP out just barely enough HP, and Nisha and company have to hightail away, but Nisha gets blocked in by the Ice Shards. Split Earth only hits on 1. You can see Resolution trying to help him out. He actually dodges the Swashbuckler. Jin Q will be the one that falls. And now they're going to turn this around to nothing to say as well. So it ends up being a 2-for-1 as Secret looked like they were going to lose out on that engagement, but a nice turnaround and a great voice line from Resolution. Perfect timing.
I love that movement from Nisha in that moment, by the way. it's one of those situations where Pango has an expectation of, okay, Lesh is going to retreat in this angle. Nisha just ran into them, and he took some of the swashbuckle damage, but Pango couldn't connect afterwards because he jumped across to the other side, expecting Nisha to be running away. And that means they don't have that damage in the tank to finish him off, and he will in turn just kill off, I believe it was the Tusk, and then, you know, Pango finds himself in a very compromised position as well afterwards. Worth noting, by the way, Resolut1on's not skilling global yet. He's level 7. He's 4-1-2 build, so I thought we were going to see the global silence as a solution to some of this aggressive movement that LGD can make, but doesn't consider it worth it just yet.
Very interesting. As the runes have been kind of eluding Mr. Nisha for quite a while. He's guessed bottom like 3 times in a row and has not been there, but still, both him and Chrysalis are top net worth at the moment for the entire game. But overall, the game feel like, in terms of the actual, like, the feel of the game right now, who do you think this favors? Because we have Faith Beyond getting quite a bit of farm now into that triangle.
It's kind of hard to say. I feel like a lot of the time when Secret gets to these super late game situations with Dawnbreaker, it falls a little bit flat a lot of the time when they play it as carry. It has its limitations. The level 25 talent, though, is amazing, but you need to get there and get the 2 Starbreaker chargers. With that said, though, they have come off to a pretty good mid-game situation now, where because Enigma's playing this
impale into the Solar Guardian, Ame gets off his ult again. Very
not
tanky
even
boy.
Remotely close to being enough damage when he gets the true form off, and it might cost Chrysalis. It's a snowball.
It's going to connect. You can see the Lone Druid Bear going pretty hand here, but Puppy's there with the slow, and the hammer coming in now to Jin Q with the help of Resolution. So again, Secret getting the better of this engagement despite being the ones falling back initially in this fight.
That was a good time to find that skill up point into Global Silence, preventing the Shallow Grave from coming in with a potential save there onto Jin Q. And yeah, good movements from Secret so far. I think they're doing a really good job at connecting heroes. And wow, would you have a look at the CS right now? Nisha, 10 CS per minute. He's got 114 to the only 58 of Pango. So again, the big winner on LGD in all of this is Faith Beyond, who gets the space, but he has a lot of ground to cover. If Secret can keep up this pace, we're looking at a potential kind of formidable mid-game where, yeah, you have this Enigma, you have this team fight, but you know you need to work around Global Silence, you know you need to work around Spike Carapace, and even Solar Guardian. So until you get BKB on Enigma, I feel like Black Hole is kind of a pipe dream. You're not really likely to get off. They will get the top tower, though. Rotation now from Ame will connect on the Lone Druid. Get that last hit for his Enigma. Great Pact maybe is a time for them to try to do something. I think they're just probably end up conceding this tower. Nisha has a haste rune. Nice D-ward there.
D-ward as well. Nisha, see if he waits around for that Diabolic Edict cooldown, but you see nothing to say in Jin Q in the area. We want to talk about the Roche potential from each side, because I feel like PSG.LGD, they have really good Roche fighting in that area, and Secret not nearly as much.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah, that's fair, and not just the fighting, also killing Roche himself, right? Yeah, Secret's lineup does a pretty poor job at killing Roche. They don't have meaningful physical damage except Dawn, who is rushing a Deso, which will, you know, help, but it's going to be a while before Secret likely do that unless they win a big team fight beforehand, because LGD can relatively easily go and contest the area. But yeah,
nothing to say. He gets stunned right out of the gates. They don't even need the Solar Guarding. There's Nisha and nets the kill with the Split Earth. 4K lead for Secret now.
They are absolutely destroying.
Starting to run away with it, as you see Puppy's ult come out after the Frostbite, and Zayas is here with another Impale Starbreaker to finish off Jin Q.
Too late on the grave there from Y. Kind of uncommon that he doesn't get that off in time. Yeah, Secret are crushing them right now. Just move after move. That's something that this Radiant lineup struggles with. If Pango is not having a good game, their ways of initiation, what do you have? You have the Tusk, who can maybe set it up. He just reached level 6. The supports of LGD have been massively under-leveled this game. You're finding both of them finding their 6s at like 13 minutes. Compare that to Secrets, right? Zayats is now level 8, Puppy's level 7 in a bit, so way ahead from these early successful moves. And I think it's just too integral for LGD's lineup that Jin Q was able to do some of these rotations correctly, and it just hasn't been the case. He's 1 and 5, hasn't really connected much, had the best pairings, so could foresee Secret just keep building on this lead as they will be getting more and more map control. And again, you got to pick your fights very wisely as LGD in this game. It's the amount of counter initiation makes it very difficult to really pick your. It's kind of like pick your poison, right? You're not going to get a free fight at any point.
Yep, definitely not at this
How long do you
pace.
need to farm? It's tricky.
Oh, nothing to say, still working on his Diffusal Blade. And you talked about Chrysalis, just about to finish his Deso, just needs the last component with the Blightstone. And Nisha, how fast? Oh, he already has Bloodstone. Okay, that was pretty fast.
Yep.
All right, very
He
good.
is very, very farmed. And he's obviously this nice aggressive ward that Secret have on the inside the enemy jungle is going to allow Nisha to play very aggressively down here. It's pretty standard for Dire to do this when they do get the bottom tier 1 tower, to start occupying this area. And Leshrac is just such an amazing hero for this. He's a difficult kill. He has the counter initiation that we've talked about, and he can almost solo this tower in 2 rounds of Edict. So he is going to force rotation PSG.LGD to come down here, and they really don't want to play on the defense, right? LGD's lineup is kind of crafted to hit a timing right now and go and force your towers. So if you're the one setting the agenda, you're already really happy.
Need to tank the gank. Oh, the Global Silence is giving some cover, and the Solar Guardian coming in as well. Jin Q is just punished right off the bat. Beautiful play from Secret as they just shut that smoke gank down immediately. Zayat's looking for more.
Oh, this could be big. They don't have
a Solar Guardian.
Yeah. Dropped everything. Still trying.
Off the Vendetta first. Actually gets the Impale as well. Chrysalis is here with the huge Starbreaker, and down goes Ame. And Secret starting to really run away with this.
You're going to have a word with Resolution after this game. This is getting out of
I'm going to have to give him some more money, I think. Yeah, he's doing a great job. Yeah. Speaking of Resolution, he has the Falcon Blade into 4 staff. We're going to see a Starbreaker again come out. Faith Beyond caught out. His own side here. Zayat stuck inside the Ice Shards. Nothing to say. He's going to be blocked up by said Ice Shards. And that 4 staff that we just talked about from Resolution coming into play already. 7K lead for Secret. They're looking very good for the men. Again, I mean, if you have a big enough lead, then taking Roche isn't that hard, considering like you just get a pick off or 2 and then you can just take it. But I feel like that is the best opportunity for LG to get back into this game.
Yeah, I think ideally what they want to do is once Global Silence and the Donald have come out, you want to smoke and make your own move, right? Because that's the one moment in time where you can initiate something without the fear of just getting immediately globally countered. But they're not managing to do that right now. They have about 30 seconds to go if they did want to make a rotation, but Secret are very firmly planted in the bottom half of the map while LGD are in the top, so they're not going to find anything, and that just means that minute 18, Secret are just ready to rock and roll again. And it's hard to see the path for LGD to initiate fight, so maybe you just need to, again, slow things down, farm it up. But what's the exact timing you're playing for? So your Lone Druid has Maelstrom and he's going towards the Mjolnir. Your Enigma is not going BKB because he's going to be scared about Global the whole game, and maybe he will just never get to use Black Hole, more or less. So he's going for the Greaves. All right, they're going to try to turn this into a Roche. I kind of like this. I think maybe if they did this a little bit earlier, this would have been a higher impact play, because actually the Global and the Donald are now online again, so might have missed the timing if Secret find this opportunity to get in there with Zayat.
Yeah, Roche
thinking about
down
it.
slowly.
Is under attack.
Wraith packed inside as Nisha seems to have a decent idea that this is happening. He's just going to walk right in with the Split Arc. Gets off the Pulse Nova and the Bloodstone ahead of him. The Soul Guardian on the outskirts as Zayat gets stunned, but nothing to say. Already gets off his Rolling Thunder, but a huge Starbreaker. Chrysalis deletes Faith Beyond. Jin Q starting to get quite low as Puppy's the first to fall for Secret, so it's a 1-for-1. He's going to buy back into the game. The double kill from Chrysalis coming out as well, and Nisha pretty much out of mana, but it's just enough to take out Ame. And now Y and company from LGD have to get the hell out of here, as Secret will likely get the Roche.
Yeah, maybe Secret kind of let them do that.
Thanks for the damage.
Do the hard work for us. You know, we can't really kill Roche ourselves that quickly, so if you guys would please get into a quarter health, we'll just show up with our spells and clean you out. They didn't even use Global. Like, Rezo actually doesn't have the mana for it right now. It was not necessary in that fight. They had a Donald, which was okay to connect on the side. We're going to see the replay here. So I love the way Secret approached this fight by sending in Leshrac first. He knows he has so much defensive cover plus the Bloodstone that he's not worried. And they find this connection on the left-hand side. This pretty much ends the fight. They kill off the Enigma with the Nyx as well as the Dawnbreaker ult. Connect that. And Ame, sure, you find the Crystal Maiden in the middle of that fight, but you're in the middle of the fight against Lesh, and you're not getting out of there afterwards. So easy cleanup for Secret. And man, going into the series today, I was not expecting that any game would be this one-sided as this is looking right now. Are LGD adopting some sort of new strategy? You know, start out slow in groups, and then you pick up some steam. You go into the playoffs, you start off slow in game number 1, you pick up your steam. That's It's going to be the question, because this one is it's not looking healthy right
So
now.
if I'm not mistaken, at the Arlington Major, I was casting a game at PSG.LGD. We're down by like 20 plus K. Like it was at a top hat shellacking level. And they brought it back. So this is the one team I would not be comfortable with a lead, no matter how much. As we see mass TPs now from PSG.LGD. Global Science to give him some cover. Nisha really wants to finish off the dazzle, but not going to be able to do so. Now completely out of mana, but remember, does have the Aegis still intact. Might have to use it here, but Solar Guardian is healing up to a decent amount. Chrysalis not able to connect on any stuns, though. And Secret looking to potentially reset, but no kills come out from PSG.LGD.
Kill the bear in the meantime.
Yeah. Is that bear number 1 or is that 2?
I think that is bear number 2. Yeah.
Oh,
50-second cooldown now for Ame. Yeah, if somebody has experience killing creeps with Freezing Field, it is Puppy, so feels really good about that. That's a very big creep there. A so-called creep hero, if you will. That's very... If you're new to Dota, Lone Druid Bear is complicated. It's,
yeah. That's true.
That's its Facebook status. It's complicated. All right. Nice carapace.
Oh, beautiful setup. Splitter up to follow, and the Impale again. Nothing to say is dead. And that's Secret, man.
You got to be so careful about this as Pango. You kind of need to weigh the pros and cons of using Swashbuckle like this, because you could obviously Swashbuckle toward your own base with the damage, right? But he wanted to get a little bit of value poke out of it. Gets carapace and gets killed. So you got to second guess yourself a lot of the time with your Pango instincts when you are playing against this hero and it's missing, because you never know when you're going to connect on that carapace and you're just getting killed off by that. So. Oh yeah, the classic Resolut, no global, we can fight easy. Well, he didn't have mana.
Oh, Impale set up onto Faith Beyond with the Solar Guardian, but a nice Tusk snowball mitigates a lot of it as Crystal pops BKB a little bit prematurely. Starbreak doesn't really connect very well, but they still have the damage, it looks like, to take out Faith Beyond. And Jin-Q is next on the list. So despite the Secret initiation not going as planned, I mean, with this kind of a lead, it doesn't really matter sometimes.
It's just such a strong position for their lineup to play on this high ground, right? And you're seeing again, Faith Beyond, he's just holding Black Hole, he can't use it. So the impact of this hero very, very minimal so far in this game, considering what we've seen from Enigma earlier in the tournament. Secret seems to have a very good understanding of how to solve it. Looks like Y will also finding a quick way back to base as Grave.
Yeah.
Okay, he kind of juked them by running in a line.
And sometimes it's the hardest path to follow. Okay.
That is really impressive that he found a way out of that.
On the other side of the map, though, Jin-Q gets off the initiation. Already has his shard as Zayas gets off the Impale, as Nisha has to walk his way around, but it looks like Jin-Q is likely to fall. He's getting healed up, though. And still the Aegis in line for Nisha, so he is not scared. Eventually, Jin-Q goes down, and there's the stun follow-up. And Nisha, they're looking for the bear. That's all the damage that Ame has.
I mean,
Again, Lightning Storm down. He's going to continue on now. They're looking for a full team wipe potentially. Global Silence is there. Nisha just hedging his bets. GG is called. And Secret completely stomped game number 1. Not what we were expecting, but Secret off to an amazing start.
Yeah, that was not even remotely close. Just absolutely crazy.